Hi, welcome to Quarantine Cuisine. I'm Alicia Rye. Thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to make my favorite ultimate comfort food, and that is pizza. I love pizza. I could eat pizza anytime. And sometimes, if it's on a bagel, I hear you can eat pizza anytime. Little bagel bites joke. Alright, so we are going to make something off of the King Arthur flour website that my friend Jen swears by. She loves this recipe, and I've eaten it once. It's delicious. And it's a sourdough pizza crust, and I love this thing. Ooh, it's so good. Sourdough, we've talked about a little bit before, is sort of like a yeast substitute in that it's a live, living creature. But for this, we're going to use the sourdough discards. What's a sourdough discard, you might ask? This is live sourdough. If you can kind of see it, you'll see it's bubbling. And yes, the jar is disgusting. That means it's a good sourdough. It's kind of bubbling and alive and active. That means that you don't need any yeast. Whatever you put this in, it'll rise kind of automatically. When you feed your sourdough starter, you take out all like half a cup, and then you put in a cup of flour and a half a cup of water. And then you mix it up together and you let it rise, and that's what activates it. But what do we do with the rest of that starter? Well, we take that starter and we put it in another jar. And those are our discards. And we go, you think about what you've done. And then we use that for stuff that doesn't require that much of a rise, like pizza dough. So here's our unfed starter. You'll see it's still a little bit bubbly, but not really. So I'm just gonna do a cup of that. Ooh, look at that. Look at all that yeasty goodness. Get in there. So I got my sourdough starter from my old editor, Sasha Knight. She's an amazing editor if you need an editor for freelance stuff. She's the reason I'm an author, really, because she plucked me out of the slush pile 10 some years ago. And she loves sourdough, and she makes sourdough stuff all the time, so she gave me a little bit of her starter, and like that little bit grew, you know, an enormous amount, because every time you feed it, it grows. That's all in there. And we're gonna do half a cup of water. Ooh, so I hope I make this right. It's been so good every time I've eaten it. 2.5 cups of flour. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. Am I gonna screw this up? Did it. Oh no, this is only half a teaspoon. All right, one more time. No, it's fine. 1 teaspoon of salt. And then because pizza requires a little bit of a rise, we're gonna put in half a teaspoon of yeast. And you know what's interesting is this yeast I actually got from my other friend, Ryan Keeley, who is on my trivia team back when we had trivia. And she is amazing at history, and she loves romance, and she had some extra yeast and she gave it to me. And isn't that nice? I think like the 2 things that I'm using in here were given to me by friends, and I just think that's really nice. I see a lot of people doing stuff like that now. Like, oh, do you need some extra flour? I bought this 20-pound bag. 20 pounds, by the way, is a lot of flour. I bought a 15-pound bag, so I know. Or, you know, oh, I have extra yeast. Do you want some? Do you want some sourdough? And it's becoming like a real, not like even a barter economy, just like a nice friend economy. Yeast is really hard to come by. Sourdough, really hard to come by. I believe the King Arthur flour website still has both of those things in stock. My friend got her sourdough on Amazon. And I believe Ryan got this yeast from some bakery or something like that. So she had to buy it in like a larger quantity. So it's out there. You just have to hunt for a little bit, or you know, just start hitting up your friends. Put a posting out. If anybody asks me for either of these, I'm happy to help. Well, my yeast is getting a little low now, but so we're gonna need this. If you have a dough hook on your fancy stand mixer, please use that. If you have a dough hook, you're probably gonna want to knead it for about 7 to 8 minutes. That should get it to the point where like the gluten's relaxed. I don't knead by hand quite that long. I don't really think you have to. Bread purists might disagree with me. Ooh. I need a step stool. Actually, maybe, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't get a step stool because this is honestly my arm workout every week when I make you guys things. So I'm gonna keep kneading this for a little bit. It's getting there. I'm gonna keep kneading this for a little bit, and then we're gonna wait till it's smooth, and then we're gonna cover it. We're gonna let it rise for about 2 to 4 hours, which I know sounds like a really long time, but honestly, that's like 2 episodes, 3 episodes of Married at First Sight, maybe 4 episodes of Too Hot to Handle. So it's not too long. Just leave it. You saw how quick it was to put together. Leave it. Come back to it, and once we're back to it, once it's risen, we'll shape it, and we'll move on our merry way. So we are putting this little pizza in the oven now. 400 degrees? 400 degrees? Hang on a minute. 450 degrees. Oh, no, that's the timer. Stop it. Stop! All right, we got it. We're getting a new oven. 450. And, you know, flatten it out into a disc. If you have a pizza stone, use a pizza stone. The way that you know if it's ready is if you sort of stretch it out and it springs back like right away. It needs to rest a little bit longer. Like this is pretty good. Stretch it out, it stays pretty much where you stretched it out to. So it's good. Once you stretch it out, you can cover it with some more plastic, let it rise. That's gonna be my new catchphrase for the show. I'm using it a lot. Let it rise for a little bit longer until it's the thickness you desire. I like it like that thick. Actually, I could even go a little bit thicker, but others disagree with me on thickness. So we'll go for a nice medium thickness. I got pizza sauce from Trader Joe's, but feel free to use whatever sauce you like. I'm just gonna glop it on there. Around a little. Spread, spread, spread. You can actually just use the whole. I don't mind a lot of sauce on my pizza. And actually, I'm gonna go. Because when you make your own pizza, you know what you can do? You can do whatever you want. That's right. So you can go all the way to the crust if you want. There could be almost no crust. You could put cheese in the crust. Oh man, sky's the limit. You're not beholden to the pizzeria people. This is your pizza. And now the King Arthur flour people have said you put the sauce in, put the toppings on, bake it for 10 minutes, and then put the cheese on and bake it for 5. And I think that that's reasonable. I see nothing wrong with that. So, sauce. We're gonna do a little bit of oregano. We'll do a little bit of basil. I love my basil. And of course, this is all from my fresh little garden outside. If you wear your proper protective gear and go to Home Depot, they have a lot of herbs right now. Because a lot of people are planting their own little herb gardens, which is nice, I think. I usually only had, I had the base herbs before this, you know, basil, mint, that sort of thing. But I've added some lemongrass and oregano and stuff because it's annoying when you just want one little herb to go all the way to the grocery store for it. This way I don't have to do that. And now for toppings, we have this is a split household. So half of it gets ham, Canadian bacon, rather, I should say. Ugh, ham. And half gets the most delicious topping in the world, and that's mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I love mushrooms so much. I will eat mushrooms anyway. I would go into a forest, pick the mushrooms out of the ground and eat them. As long as they weren't some weird trippy mushrooms, which they might be. Oh, look at all those delicious mushrooms. Look at those. Look at those. Oh, we're not done yet. There's some more. Yeah. Pizza people, you can't tell me I can only have 5 mushrooms on each slice. The pizza is basically half mushrooms. And we'll finish off. With more ham on. Woo! I love it. Our home pizza. Okay, we'll put this in the oven, let it bake for 10 minutes, then we'll take it out, put the cheese on, and it'll be all done and ready to put in our mouths. Okay, let's do it. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. When pizza's on a pizza, you can have pizza all the time. Ooh, look at that girl. Oh, that's a nice pizza. Perfect. Of course, I can't try it or anything because it's very, very hot, but when we do try it, it's going to be very delicious. And I'm going to try it in a second after I get back to Smash Bros. Because you can clearly hear it playing in the background. So, thank you for joining me for this episode of Quarantine Cuisine. We're going to eat this delicious pizza. And thank you to King Arthur Flour for making our quarantine a little bit more doughy. See you next time. Bye.